There is a rhythm in nature, a pulse so subtle, most of us forget to feel it. But when we do, something ancient awakens. Today, we explore the 15th pattern of change. This is about not trying to fix your shadow, but to understand why it exists and what it asks of us. But I'll first start with a short parable. At this point, please close your eyes and visualize the story I am about to share. Once in a hidden valley, there lived a people who moved with perfect rhythm. They rose with the sun, planted by the moon, danced to the beat of the wind. Their crops flourished, their hearts stayed light. But one day, something changed. A gray fog rolled through the valley. It wasn't violent, it didn't destroy, it simply muted everything. Color faded, birds stopped singing, the villagers began to forget their songs. They still planted, still worked, still smiled, but their joy was rehearsed, their sadness dulled. They began to call it the Great Stillness. But it was not peace, it was dullness. One day, a young boy named Eli wandered into the forest. There he found a flower glowing gold amongst the mist. When he touched it, he cried for the first time in years, laughed, then danced. His heart remembered rhythm. He ran back, trying to share it, but most had forgotten how to feel. Only the few who dared to embrace discomfort followed him into the woods, and there, slowly, life returned. The fog, you see, was not a curse. It was a teacher. It asked, will you numb to survive or feel to evolve? This 15th pattern of change and evolution carries the shadow of dullness. It's not chaos. It's not rage. It's emptiness, numbness, a slow fade from vibrant to gray. At its core, dullness carries the fear of polarity, the fear of life's extremes, grief and ecstasy, stillness and motion, rage and compassion. So we shut down to protect ourselves, but in doing so, we forget how to feel anything at all. This challenge often manifests physically as fatigue, emotional disconnection, or compulsive need for comfort. In relationships, it's the avoidance of depth. In work, the repetition of a routine without joy. It shows up in your body, your voice, your very rhythm. But here's what most don't realize. The shadow isn't here to punish us. It exists to slow us down so we can feel what's beneath the numbness. In terms of physical evolution, this challenge is connected to our circadian rhythms, emotional patterns, and our electromagnetic fields. Dullness affects how we synchronize with life itself. And so the shadow arrives when we're out of rhythm with our body, our truth, and our essence. Spiritually, this shadow creates space for awakening. When you've exhausted every distraction and nothing feels meaningful anymore, one finally asks, what is real? This is the turning point, not when you fix it, but when you feel again. The complementary shadow challenge to this is the shadow of self-obsession, which has an egoic fear of self-guidance. Its repressive nature is self-denying, even denying of the self of others who are trying to help you. Its reactive nature is narcissistic, which means it doesn't want to grow up. It just wants to obsess over how one is and how one will never change. And in that shadow lies the dilemma of tightness. So you can see how these shadows feed off each other, how the fear of polarity works with the fear of denying self-guidance. For those interested in doing deeper personal alchemy and wish to have a means of accelerating an understanding of shadow work, over the last 3 to 5 years, I have collected a wealth of information from various esoteric systems, namely the I Ching, human design, gene keys, the chakra systems, and astrology, as well as integrating them with the human genetic code. And in this chart, you will find the details of all the different shadows, all the different fears, the specific fears that fuel those specific shadows, all 64, all in relationship to each codon. And in this wheel, you will find 4 legends on each corner because they can't all fit on one corner or one side to make it a nice, evenly balanced square. So here is the statements from each zodiac sign, so you can see. And then we have the legend for each chakra. You'll notice that there are more than 7, and because there are more than 7, because it is including the spleen as a means to detect threats. So there's an intuitional center there. There's also a center of willpower called the thyroid, because when we are born, the thyroid is literally almost, if not as big as our heart. So we have to accommodate that. And on the other side of this, you will also find an understanding of the I Ching, hexagram system, the different trigrams, the relationship to the three-dimensional plane, the yin and the yang, and how each of the 6 lines are affiliated with different archetypes, thanks to the human design and or gene key system. And lastly, you will also find the human genetic sequence chart for all the amino acids associated with the human genetic code. But furthermore, you will also find in this chart all the different zodiacs, all 12, mixed with the human design gene key chart. Bear with me, my graphics card is not as fast as other people's on their computer, but you will see all the different fears, all the different shadows, and how they relate to each chakra in those colorful little dots. So you can see how it affects each energy center in the body and how each of them have their own repressive and reactive statements because there are 6 expressions in each challenge. Therefore, you will also find those 6 lines in there, all with their own repressive and reactive statements, their associated dilemmas from that specific shadow, which eventually will clear up, the gift from making the right choices regularly and practicing that gift with its own unique self-empowerment statement. So as you learn to vacate the trapped emotions such as sadness, fear, anger, shame, and guilt, and you reorient towards true self-alignment and honoring the intuition and inner authority that you possess, it will lead you towards the grace specific to that challenge. So if you would like to learn more about this and or you would like to download this file for your own personal means of translating your specific challenges in the human design system or in the gene key system, it is all there for you. All you have to go is to my website and download this PDF file. It's about 50 megabytes in size. I hope you enjoy this and hope you enjoy this brief glimpse into this massive PDF with all the details about all the specific challenges you'll have in your personal self-realization path. In order to find this PDF, a link will be found down below in the description of the YouTube video. When using that elaborate and vast chart of information, you can use the human design apps found in the App Store on Google Play so that you can choose whichever speaks to you most. And as you choose whichever human design app works best for you, you can then use that towards the chart. So you get your information and your numbers. And then after that, you can use the chart as reference. For example, I use the human design app, which helps me see the specific numbers that I need to see in the top right-hand corner. The red are the unconscious. These are the ones that were imprinted when the soul decided to remain anchored in the body about 90 days before you were born, between the second and the third trimester. The black numbers indicate the conscious, more aware challenges that you know you have in your current life, based on your survival challenges and your adversities currently going on in your life. You can also find that same application in the Human Design App Store for iPhone and or iOS before you start using the chart that you have purchased online. Thank you very much. And if you ever need more information on this and you wanted a free consultation in understanding the current challenges in your life and how it relates to human design, feel free to reach out through the links below. You can also visit thegenekeys.com. There, you will also find a different kind of chart. It relates to the same challenges and same numerical sequences as found in the I Ching and Human Design. And there you'll be able to find a free profile link where you can then enter in your personal information in this field and then have a look at your specific gene key profiles and understand your genus sequence, your Venus sequence in opening up your heart, your love sequence, prosperity, and finding inner harmony. Thank you for watching this short introduction into the Wheel of Evolutionary Change and the chart that I've shown you in brief. And hopefully through those apps and through this PDF, you will find a way to decode the challenges you face and understand how to make the best choices for you and everyone you were meant to impact positively in your life. Now back to the shadow work and the evolutionary change in this video. The repressive side of the shadow of dullness is emptiness, a quiet resignation, a soul that's given up, thinking that it's peace, yet it's a surrender to depression, a negative acceptance. The journey out of this begins when we dare to ask, what am I afraid to feel? The reactive side is to become extremist, which is like rebellion without direction, a life of escape, jumping from passion to passion, place to place, without ever landing. A restlessness rooted in rage, pushing people away, but healing begins the moment one stops running and starts facing what's chasing us. Understanding the dilemma of comfort. We often think comfort is a goal, yet comfort, whether it is in luxury or in misery, can be a trap. It tempts us to stay still, to repeat, to settle. The same job in a different office, the same partner with a new face. Life loops but doesn't evolve. True change agitates. Growth demands discomfort. The shadow of dullness resists this. It fears transformation. But when we look at nature, it knows otherwise. Nature moves through opposites, light and dark, stillness and motion, and so must we. As we become more comfortable with being uncomfortable, the gift that we get from this is magnetism. Not performance, not persuasion, just resonance. When one surrenders to one's own rhythm, others feel it. One begins to draw life to you, people, opportunities, purpose, without even using any force. And eventually, when the rhythm becomes pure essence, you blossom into this fractal flower of energy. which is essentially called the grace of fluorescence. It is like a silent flowering of your purpose, not through effort, but through an embodied frequency that comes naturally to you. It's organic and it's meant to blossom in natural due time. Some blossom earlier, others might blossom later, so there's no need to put pressure on it. And from the path of dullness to fluorescence, it isn't linear. It's seasonal, cyclical, organic. It begins not with control, but with compassion for your journey. The question this challenge asks is not, quote, what do you want to be, but are you willing to feel again? And from that feeling, are you willing to move in rhythm with life, not just exist within it? Dullness is a teacher that arrives when you've forgotten how to listen. It is the fog that invites you back to your presence. It dulls, not to destroy you, but to ask, will you risk the chaos of your heart to remember why you're here? And this challenge is not here for you to be fixed. It's here to be felt. And in that feeling, your rhythm returns, and with it, so does your magnetism. If this resonated with you, you know what to do at the bottom of the screen here. You can hit like if you want to. You can subscribe to the channel if this really helped you understand your issues because you read your charts and you wanted to learn more about this specific evolutionary challenge. Down below in the description, you will find contact information if you want to be able to talk with me one-on-one. Get a free consultation. It lasts about 45 minutes. I also have links below for my website so that you can have a look and you might find yourself leading towards an archive that I've got. Now, this archive is free for my meetup groups, such as divination systems that talk more about this in depth, another group regarding emotional intelligence and mastery, and the next one is emotional trauma release group, where I provide a safe space for people to feel again and to process the emotions so that they can also allow them to vacate the psyche as opposed to letting them stay in your house as overstayed guests, and how to politely ask them to leave and to release themselves from you. If you're not into joining another social platform, then you can still access the archives through the links on my website to the Dropbox folders with a plethora of resources that you can tap into. Thank you for watching this video in its entirety. I appreciate your time, and I hope that this video provided value to you. And share with people who you may have an affinity for that are going through the same thing you are. You can also comment down below what you've been afraid to feel all these years. I look forward to providing more insightful content for all the different challenges in the human evolutionary wheel of change. God bless you on your journey. Namaste and good life to you all.